Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Hold On, I'm Not Quite Prepared. There we go. Welcome to another episode of Ferris Makes Emulators. This is episode 9, where I hope to be doing some refactoring. Good to see you all again. It's only been a week since last time, which is like a new low for me in terms of number of days since the last stream. But that's pretty nice. Hope to be doing this more regularly. I got a couple, just before we start, I got a couple points of feedback. The first one is that my mic is apparently too quiet, and I remember some people saying it was too loud before. So if this is as loud as I'm gonna talk, let's crank that up a bit. How's that for you guys? Is that a lot better? Looks a lot better. Let me know if that's way too loud, but I think that'll help. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Thanks for joining me, guys. Tara7, hey, how's it going? Zagiv, how's it going? Crazy92, good to see you again. Is that Gagner? Finally caught you online. Awesome, thanks for joining us. Cool, looks like the mic is doing okay. Before we start, I want to share with you guys some stuff. Saksu is actually seeing into the future here. What I actually wanted to share is that I spent a lot of my time in the last week making an asteroids clone in a programming language called Elm. So I just kind of wanted to share that because I finished it yesterday and yeah, ready to go. So let me link that. Drew02, how's it going? Yeah, so this is my asteroids clone called Elm Steroids, right? And it's a pretty standard run-of-the-mill asteroids game, but because it's done in Elm, it's actually completely stateless. So the code to this is actually fairly interesting. I won't be going over that too much in the stream, but I just kind of wanted to show this off because I'm actually fairly proud of it for only spending a week on this game. But yeah, so go ahead and check that out if you want to. It's pretty fun to play. It's very hard, but it's nice. So enough of that. First things first, we need to get to some pull requests, as usual. You should be going over it. Saksu as hard as fudge. Interested in how you can game dev statelessly. I actually did do a quick stream like last Monday where I talked a lot about that, where I was still working on that game. I think I was working on collisions. I can't remember what I was working on exactly. But I did, so that is in my VODs, and it's also uploaded to my YouTube. So there's at least that. I don't think I'll be doing more on that unless I like add more particles. Like I want to add engine particles. Crazy92 saying, isn't it kind of bad that it's stateless, especially if it compiles to JS? Is that's already slow? Yeah, I mean it's not great for performance, but it's a pretty fun like project to do, and it's fun to kind of bend your mind that way. Also, I do have a belief that a sufficiently smart compiler could actually make that quite fast, and I've got a couple side projects where I want to play with that. But yeah, that's for another time. This particular compiler just does it fairly naively in that sense. Drew2 said, inspired by the Elm clone, I'm making a rip-off game in F# using FunScript to transpile JavaScript. Awesome. I love F#. I would challenge you to try and still be stateless in F#, because you don't have to be, but I would challenge you to try to be, because that's part of what made it interesting. Yeah. So let's go ahead and hit these pull requests. So first one, this is by Sakes, I believe you say that. Sakes, that's how you say it. I had a typo when I did the SLTU instruction. I accidentally typed it as STLU. So he just went ahead and fixed that. He or she, this person, went ahead and fixed that in CPU and opcode. So that's a really easy one. So easy merge, fantastic. So thank you, Sakes, for that one. It's pretty good. Yeah, then the next one was fixed implementation of unsigned multiplication. So this was somewhat interesting, actually. As you can see, I don't know if it's, let me zoom in a bit here. As you can see, this was David E. Grayson. So thank you to him for that. This is the original implementation of my unsigned multiply. So I just read these values from these registers, RS and RT. We get the general purpose registers that those specify. And then here's where it's interesting. So what I did here is I took both of those multiplied together, cast that as a signed 32-bit integer, and then sign extended that up to an unsigned 64, and then put the high 32 bits in reg high and the low 32 bits in reg low. This is actually wrong, and the reason why is because you'll notice that when I calculate this and I transform it into a 32-bit value and then sign extend to 64-bit, that would mean that this high register is always going to be 0 because we've dropped all that information here. So he went ahead and fixed that. All you really have to do is change this one line for the result here, and that's that you just take both of them as unsigned 64-bit values and multiply them. And then we sign extend when we actually write to register high and low, but we do that with an initial, properly multiplied 64-bit value first. And so he also gave a link to where that was in the documentation that clarified this, even bolded this part. By the way, guys, this is a beautiful pull request. I just wanted to say. So that was really helpful. Nice little catch, pretty simple. And then there was a little more discussion that was not as related, but sort of interesting. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and look at that. But I'm just going to merge it. Let me set my zoom. Done. So thank you, David E. Grayson, for that. That was really helpful. Is that Greasteku? I'm not really sure how to say that. Going to Solskogen this year, Ferris. Yes, I am. I will be going to Solskogen. Yeah, I will be at Solskogen. By the way, for those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, Solskogen is a demo scene party in Norway in July, and I'll be going there. Hope to have a pretty cool, very small demo. Something size limited will happen at Solskogen. Sorry, guys, who are having connection issues. It looks fine on my end, but if it stays that way, maybe I can look into something to fix. So then we get to Flogeneer, who's here in the chat. Actually made a lot of pull requests. A couple of them were a bit too out of the scope of what I wanted to do. But there were a few that were not, and I want to go over those. One of them was also still running tests, so I might wait on that, but we'll see. Black Stealth, thanks for streaming when I'm waking up. Here for you, man. So this first one was to update the gitignore to ignore editor artifacts. This is something that a couple people who have been watching live have bugged me about. That doesn't particularly bug me. And what they're talking about is, like, if you open a file in Emacs and you start editing it, you'll get some backup files that are written to disk with the same as the file name with a tilde on the end. And it's very, like, I'm just used to Dora2, see you later. Thanks for joining us. I'm just used to ignoring those, and it really doesn't bother me at all, but it bothers some people, so I think I'm going to actually go ahead and have git ignore those files. The thing is, though, I don't think gitignore is the place to do these when it's like editor-specific and platform-specific files. But you can do .git/info/exclude instead locally in your repository, and you can just I guess just add the same entries there instead, and you'll get basically the same effect, but then it won't be committed to the repo. So that way I can just fix my local config. Huvoy00 says, hey, finally this. Yep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I think if we do, it even comes with a little README kind of thing. So the funny part is too that there's also this one right here already. I'm just gonna leave that one though, and we'll do this. So anything with a tilde at the end, we're gonna ignore. What are other ones that we wanted to ignore? I don't exactly remember. Let's see what this, see if this one had. I just had the target directory, but I already had that in gitignore. So I think this is actually the only one that we need to worry about for now. If other ones come up later, then we can go ahead and fix that. Anyway, that's fairly easy. So now that problem's fixed. Again, this because this pull request had it in the gitignore, I'm going to reject that, but I wanted to go over it on the stream. Talk about why I was doing that, and okay, so we'll go ahead and close that one. Double says the Mac one too. Yeah, DS Store is probably one that we're gonna want. That's probably a good one to ignore. Cool. So now we get to more pull requests from Flogeneer. Been a busy guy this last week on this repo. And this is just this first one is just fixed wording in a warning message. So in one of these, when you're writing the status reg, I would print out a warning that a bit was written but not implemented. But of course I forgot the word but, and so he just added that in there. Nice little typo fix. So go ahead and merge that. Boom. This guy says thumbs.db, which thinks that's a link. We'll see if that one shows up. I don't think it will because I'm on Mac, but thought that was a Windows one. So this next one by Flogeneer is a bit larger. And it's still running on tests, but I think it'll pass because it passed Travis CI and App Ferris. Just a little moody when it comes to actually downloading Rust. Sometimes it'll time out, and yeah. Movie00 also says on his he has Git set up with the global Gitignore file, which excludes all the PyScript files. Yes, that's also a good way to do it. So I might set that up later as well, but we'll stick with this for now. Yeah, so about this pull request, added support for special opcodes when displaying opcode names. So this actually covers a couple things. Let me just go over what changed. So whenever we would run an instruction, currently we just print it to the console for debugging right now. So he did a couple things. First of all, he split that out into its own function, and we'll get to why in a second. Later in the CPU, when things were executing the delay slot, that would actually happen in a couple places. So there's another function that handles delay slot execution, given a current program counter. So let's go over the delay slot one first. What it's going to do is it's going to grab the delay slot instruction from where that delay slot program counter was. Go ahead and print it out. So that's the other place where now that print instruction thing is used. And then go ahead and execute it. Yeah, and then updated the thing here. So we remove some code duplication. And then also in the printing, this will literally just print an instruction, but he added support for the special and immediate register ones. So now they're going to be a little bit prettier. In addition, he also added this flag for whether or not you should print out if it's a delay instruction. If it's an delay slot instruction or not, or if it's executing in the delay slot. I did just actually notice on the stream, sorry, this is a bit embarrassing doing this on the stream, but I did just notice that this match and this if here actually have semicolons at the end. I think what I'll actually do is accept this now just for the sake of time and then go ahead and remove those. Those are not necessary and I would like not to have them. The rest of the code looks great. And again, this is pretty helpful because this will help us understand if different instructions are executing in delay slots or not, which was kind of confusing last time. So thanks, Flogeneer. Flogeneer says it's been fun hacking at it. Awesome. Glad you're having fun. I'll just go. I know I'm waiting for the AppVer build, but I kind of know that this will pass, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And then let's go ahead and fix those semicolons now. I'll go ahead and pull that down. Credit 2 also points out some braces and semicolons in the match that aren't needed, so go ahead and fix those too. So it's down here. Yeah, here we actually don't need the semicolons or braces here. So you need the braces to contain this statement, right? But this didn't actually have to be a statement anyway because it just returns unit, so we can actually simplify this a bit. Also, just remove that alignment because that doesn't really bother me much. Nice. So there's a couple quick formatting fixes. Or whoops, that wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted this one and this one. I do like to have them at the end of statements a lot of the time, even though, yeah, this is a bit different, but yeah. Just helpful. Ferris says you do need a comma. Yeah, I believe you do. There you go. That should be everything there. Go ahead and run this. Oh. Moody terminal. Yeah, so now we're still running, and we see which slots were in delay, which is nice because now we're actually seeing what this loop looks like. So very, very helpful. I'll just go ahead and commit these. Done. The semicolon talk reminds me of MATLAB. Ugh, that's funny. Flogeneer says, super props for pronouncing my username right. 90% of people don't get it right. I seem to get a lot of practice when I'm streaming pronouncing various names, and I'm just going to attribute it to that. Yeah, so that was the stuff that was the pull requests. What I actually wanted to hit on today, I think, is that there was another pull request by Flogeneer about this. Actually, let me pull up the other pull request, because it was one of those ones where like my policy with accepting pull requests is that I won't accept ones that are like too significant changes to the code. And the reason why I don't do that is because, like, in printing the instruction and changing the delay slot stuff, that's a fairly obvious kind of refactoring. So I don't mind, accepting that. But when it becomes larger, then it's like, oh, we missed all the work that it took to do that on the stream. And my goal with this project is to basically get everything on the stream. So yeah, I don't like to accept changes that are too significant. But a lot of these smaller ones I have no problem with. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, this one was actually pretty nice, but I didn't want to accept it because it was too significant. Basically what it was is that a lot of these instructions are actually very, very similar. And this is a pattern that I noticed pretty early on. Like especially if you look at all these instructions, you can see that they're just reading from RS and RT, like from these registers. And in fact, last time when I was writing these, I actually made a mistake where I was just reading these values instead, and then doing arithmetic on those. And so one of the things we'll probably want to do is just factor out a lot of these so that we can basically have the boilerplate down in some other function, and then we just do the specific arithmetic and specific, packing and unpacking for a given instruction here, just to kind of move it all out of this giant match case for all the instructions. So I think I actually wanted to do that now, because I kind of knew that this was coming as I was writing these, but I kind of just wanted to write them out anyway, just to see how many different kind of permutations that we had before I went and refactored it. But it looks like we're kind of nearing the point where I think that's actually going to be valuable. So I think I actually want to go over that today. Also, I see some. Wait a minute. That one, if I recall correctly, we actually needed. Yeah, never mind. Black Still's question here: any advice for debugging RISC instructions? I haven't really worked with RISC, so I'm not really sure. I've heard the instruction decoding is supposed to be fairly easy, but it has like a lot of special cases and things like that, so I'm not really sure. Black Still's saying yes, remove those brackets. I actually don't think I can, because this function returns a value, and then the types don't match up if I remove these. I think that's why I had them there. Black Stealth got my frick the first go. Yeah, it was pretty easy. Crazy, I didn't get your name right. I've been saying it wrong a lot of times then, so that's kind of funny. If you could fill me in on how to pronounce that, we'll get that straightened out. Skea says no one ever gets his right. I don't think that many people speak Danish. Skea? Something like that. I don't know. Danish sounds funny to my ears. Yeah, of course, the VR4300 is RISC. But I don't know. The distinction is generally not that black and white, I've found in practice. When you said RISC, I thought ARM for some reason, so that's actually what I was thinking. But I don't really have any tips for debugging RISC. It just kind of goes. Oh, so it's apparently instead of Cries 92, it's just Cries. Cries 92. It was the capital Z that made me stick another vowel in there, or another what's the term? Syllable. There we go. Cool. But yeah, just before I close this, I did want to say good job to Flogeneer for actually doing this refactoring, because it was pretty cool. This is one of the kind of things that I really wanted to do on stream, so that's why I did that. But yeah, so we'll close this. and actually start working on this ticket. And one of the reasons I want to do this as well is because as we're executing now, we end up in this large loop here. And there was some stuff that I mentioned in the last stream with BGEZAL, where that might actually be where this went wrong, and then I'm hitting another loop, but I'm not actually sure. And I think doing this refactoring, because it will take a lot of the boilerplate out of the instructions, I think will actually help for the correctness of the instructions. So in case I've gotten any wrong, this refactoring should actually help sort of normalize that error. Or not, but we'll see. So yeah. Also, I must say that doing a refactoring like this is a lot less attractive when your font size is this big, but I think we'll do it anyway. Cool. Blackstell says, thanks God for fixed length of risk opcodes. Can we all agree on this? It is very, very helpful. Then you don't have to have like multiple cycle reads for different parts of your instruction like old CPUs like Sys.2 have. I'm sure x86 is doing some of that as well. But it's probably less detrimental when you have proper caches. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove some of this extra line formatting and stuff as well, just to kind of see the structure a little bit easier. What's probably going to happen with these instructions is that, as we saw with the branch, we're going to take in a function that actually does, in this case, the compare and whether or not we should branch. And I think that's going to be the mechanism that's generally going to happen. I'm not really sure yet if I want to do like how many of those different specializations that I want, so we'll just have to play with it. It's also possible that I definitely mess something up while doing this refactoring, but that's why we have source control and 40 people live compiling at the same time, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Lexcel's no wonder Intel switched to risk with this layer. Flosioneer, Ferris, can you copy into the chat the first few bytes of the PIF? No, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I don't want to be shipping that. I think you can find some of those in a hex editor in some of the previous videos, as a hint. But I'm not going to dump it in the chat. I'm also going to go full screen. Whoa. All right. Yeah, so most of these take the form where we're going to do RS and RT. So we'll start with just the ones that take that form and only that data. Then we're going to start hitting the other ones as we need to. Like in this case, we need the immediate value, that kind of thing. I'm not really sure what to call it yet, so we'll just kind of make something here. Actually remove. I'll actually take this print instruction and these and move them down here. Engineer, I just need to know if this is the right file and if this is byte swapped or garbled or what. I believe it was the first or second episode I did where I struggled with the same thing. I don't think I can. Don't think I should talk much more about that. So here, we know we're going to. I'm not really sure what to call this yet. Foo. And then F, I think, is all we need to do, actually. The best is you can check the hashes for the PIF in the MAME. And I also think I want to hash the ROM that I've been testing with and put that in the README as well. But I just need to do that at some point. Is it Zagjev or Zagyev? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that one. Looks Polish. Have you tried using Eraser and FlyCheck Rust? I haven't yet, but I know I need to. It's on my to-do list. Also, you know what? I think regarding the hash, why don't I just resolve that now? I never take checksums of anything. It's just SHA-1 sum. Is that all I need? That'd be helpful, right? Thanks for saying my nick is a random name I made when registering. I have no idea how it's pronounced. That helps. 62 is saying I second that. Racer and Linter is really amazing. Highly recommend trying those out when you have the time. I'll have to do that. Call me a noob, but if someone can give me a command to just generate a SHA for this file, that would be helpful. On OS X. Or some command to run like with Homebrew or something that'll give me the tool. Let's just try that actually. Brew install SHA-1 sum. MD5 SHA-1 sum. That'll probably work. Get that? Looks like we got it. Cool. What are the arguments to this? Read files in binary mode. SHA sum seems to be SHA-1 sum. I think we got it now, so we'll try. Yeah. Okay. So here's the SHA to my PIF, and I'll go ahead and add this to the repo as well. Like Jeff is saying, it's SHA-1 sum on Linux at least. Yeah, but I had to download that through Homebrew on OS X, but that's fine. Let me go ahead and update the README. I usually just do that on here, even though I get the ugly editor. Could add like a running section. This is Cafe Babe. That one's actually one I haven't seen. I've seen Dead Beef. Let's see. Cafe Babe is my new favorite. That's gonna be the one I start using. Oh, that's a good one. Rustlang. Oh, get the downloads page. Let's actually download it here. Make here the link. Like still Ferris work faster, please. If you know, Babe Cafe is good too. Coca-Cola from Daniel Cullen. That's another one I haven't seen. Kiram says, "Isn't the magic number of Java class file Cafe Babe?" I did not know that. That's awesome. Or an ASCII term, some gibberish. Actually, what does Rustation say for this? I quite like the Rustation project. That's pretty cool. I have yet to actually try it though, but whoops. I didn't realize Rostenda was coffee's another good one. I didn't realize Rostenda was 8 characters. Too bad it doesn't all fit in ASCII or hex. So close. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. Commit. FG Microsoft Com structured storage files. Use magic file doc file. I actually didn't realize that. I've worked with those before, and I never noticed that. I've done a bunch of stuff with executable compression, actually, for demoing things. Yeah. So now we have the shop there, at least. And let's actually work on this refactoring. Oh, Mako binders actually start with Cafe Babe. When compressed with Pack 200, the bytes are changed to Cafe Dude. Tell me that's true. I have a hard time believing it, but that's awesome. That is really funny, actually. Yeah. U64 that will return there? Because typically it's we pull some stuff out with our SNRT, do something to it, and then return it. So we can just cover that case first. That covers like all these cases, for example. Well, so we'll start with that. Not sure what to call this yet. That's how the pros do it. Thank you, Skip, for checking on that. Have to know. Yes, so this is going to be... Let's copy this. And then we have the value, right? But then we need the sign extended value. I'm going to say... Oops, where did we go? Wait00 says, huh, links are enabled? I'm not seeing links. You can always message me the links. Whisper, or whatever it's called in Twitch. And then at least I can scream them that way. Scream them, yes. Screen them. So here we're going to do F with RSRT. Yeah, that's correct. Sign extended value, and then we do self right reg GPR RD. Yeah, so apparently on IRC the links aren't blocked. I've heard that before. Skis says Cafe Dude confirmed. That's awesome. That's really cool. That makes me very happy about the world we live in. So I'm still not really sure what to call this function. Maybe there's a clue. Where's our table O contents? We do have instruction formats. So here we have I type, J type, and R type. Might as well just use these. I think Flogeneer's pull request actually had that as well. Like if disease used as a flag to indicate regular boot on the GameCube and Wii. That's pretty awesome. That's awesome. Win00 function do this stuff. Getting there. All right. Let's go ahead and use those. So this in this case is going to be R type. Phone is off the hook. Yeah, again, good job, Skiff, for looking into that. I think that's really funny. Function Win00 function emulate N64. That's a good one. Actually, that's probably what we'll end up with later. At least at the top level. Bootstrapping should be fairly minimal. So the R-type actually includes a bunch more stuff here. And I may actually just follow this same format because I think it's just really actually pretty good idea to follow this because, like, yeah, just match that structure instead of making it my own. Even if I could probably, you know, come up with all the different permutations that are a little more minimal, I think this is a good idea. We'll start with just the ones we actually use, though, and we'll extend this as we actually encounter them, I think. But we can at least use R-type to move forward here. Christ says I'd use immediate type instead of I type though, as that conveys the intent a lot better. That might be. Like Jeff says, is there any standard on Rust whether to use full names or abbreviations? I don't think there's really any of that, but I mean, you want to be expressive. Do like register or reg is one of the things that I will actually do that. We could do reg and im, just so that it won't be ridiculous. I think that's what I might do. So let's actually go ahead and start using this. And of course we need the instruction passed into here as well, so that we can actually pull the stuff out. Then it's at least a little bit better in terms of expressiveness. It's going to be obvious to whoever reads this. So yeah, so whenever we have this format, then this should be pretty easy. Like here, except here actually also uses SA, so I guess we'll need that as well. We'll get back to that in a second, actually. So for instance, this one. Yeah, register instruction. And then here we're going to have RS and RT, and we're going to, I think I still want to have these intermediates, because that was quite nice actually. But then all we need to do is just return RT shift left shift. That's pretty nice. Except we may not want to multiply that. It's a path reg in and jump. Yeah, that's probably what it'll be. Dinner Colin, I just named them like that for each type. Link sent to Twitter Ferris. Code is a 300-line MIPS assembler written in Lisp for PS2. I'm going to check that out really quick. Oh yeah, so he had some additional. I'll put this link in chat. Bloop. And what he's doing here is he just has the various types of instructions, and then yeah, it's a little more specialized than like the specialization that we've chosen. That's nice because then sometimes you don't have those extraneous parameters, and it might be error prone when I start adding more. Like if you miss one or you get the alignment wrong in terms of the arguments, it might be annoying, but I think this will be pretty good. Yeah, so that does cover this, right? Because we store an RD with the sign extend value. The sign extend happens underneath. Don't have to worry about that. So all we had to do is take the values. Yeah, I think we're good there. The other thing is that I can remove some of this. Make it look a little nicer. Cool. So that shrank. Next. This isn't going to be the fastest process, but nothing ever is when you're streaming it anyway. I'll actually do this. By the way, guys, how cool is it the live coding is a thing? I was thinking about that the other day. I think it's just awesome that we can do this. So now I'm a bit curious as to why I did this here. But I didn't do it in the other one. Like, wouldn't it be an idea to make a function for sign extension too? Yeah, I might do that as well, just as something additional to what I'm doing now, while we're at it. But there's a lot of different like things that we need to sign extend, so I'm not really sure if I'll do that. Just because we have to sign extend between a lot of different values, I feel like. Maybe we don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. Oh, so I'm actually gonna hit this again. I'm actually gonna open this again. Because I want to have a couple different contexts. Oh, did that not work? That's annoying. Cry says I'd almost implement it as a trait and implement for the different types, so you can just do rs.signExtend. That's not a bad idea. But then we have, are we sign extending to 64-bit all the time? I think we are. So yeah, I like that suggestion for actually implementing it, but we'll see if that's a good idea or not to actually do that. Yeah, so I was gonna look at SRLV. So this does take 32-bit values when it does the shifts. And I think the reason why we did that is to get it to be logical. When we shift right like that, it's going to append zeros. Versus when we shift left, it's going to append zeros as well. I don't think we have to do this, though. And then I think we're okay. Unless that was to get it to the right type for the shift. Which I actually think it was. So that probably makes sense. Christ says it could be generic over the result type, but you probably need the num traits. Great for that, though. Interesting. Yeah, and of course in both these cases we need to pass the instruction. Oh yeah, a couple things. First, we're going to take this here, so we need to actually do the value. There, so that's one error. The next one is that we had some mismatched types up here, where we just were. And that was here on the shift. Are these not supposed to be the same type? Yeah, and we also, as Eve says here. Scale says, didn't someone do a prime number calculation with the Rust type system? I haven't seen that. That sounds cool. Yeah, all this is just telling me is that the types don't line up. But, oh, you shift right via usize, don't you? Let me pull up my dash. Rust, does that not work? Let's just take U32. Go to that and we'll find one of these. Or wait, no, isn't it a shift right trait? Jeez. Of course. That's what it is. So we want to see shift right. Yeah, shift right U size for, well, that's wrapping. U32. It looks like we have shift right U32 for U32, so that should actually be fine. Unless it's here that it's actually not. Did we get, no, because it was line 100, wasn't it? Line 140. That is here. Oh, of course. It's a return type. Of course. Okay, types are fun. So maybe actually, since this is going to sign extend the value anyway, take it as I32 264, maybe we actually want to return like a U32 anyway. I'm not actually sure what I want to do for that. But we'll do a few more and we'll see if that makes sense. Chris is saying, why is the right one different than the left shift one? I think that was because this is a logical shift. And logical shifts, when you shift right, need to put zeros at the end of the values. And so I casted these to U32 so that when we do the shift right, we get a bunch of zeros instead of what might have been a sign extend above there. I think that was why. Let me look at SRLV again. Because this is saying you only do, yeah, you shift a bunch of zeros in there. Or that's SRLV we want. No, that is correct, right? Shift right? Yeah, I'm just reading this wrong. Yeah, you always push zeros onto there on top of the 32-bit bits you got here. So I'm chopping off the bits by casting them that way. And then the left shift, you always get zeros when you shift onto this. Just as U64, so that should be okay. So, but yeah, because it's a logical shift, we want to get rid of those bits. That was cause for pause for me a couple minutes ago, but I think that's what it is. So this one's a bit different. This one stays. This jump also stays. These ones almost, but we need SA, so we'll get to those in a sec. I don't mind just doing this in a few passes. These also stay how they are. This is a perfect example of what we'll be doing, or what we're doing here. So this is going to be self.reg instruction. Actually, will this. Those don't need this. This will actually do the sign extend. This is actually all we need to do. Nice. And to make that a little nicer, I'll do this even. Sick. Even. Lovely. I'm just going to run it between all these just to make sure I get paranoid. because we already messed it up. Nice. Also getting a warning, getting a bunch of warnings. We'll see if how much of those are relevant because a lot of those have been irrelevant for a while. They'll just kind of resolve themselves over time. Sub U is the same format here. These also need to sign extend here, so this is actually like the same thing, which makes sense. Add U and sub U should be symmetric. Have to even jam those together. How pretty is that? It's always so nice when you get to improve code quality and aesthetics. Looks like this is going to be the same. I can't remember if Rust can do this, but can I just pass that operator? I guess I need to do the function if I do that. So I probably have to write it like that. Yeah, that's the same. Looks like or is the same. Yeah. Cars is saying, how about you also get rid of the closures completely? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Can you actually, can I just pass like wrapping add here? Or here? Just take 2 arguments. Let's find out. Because that is better. If we add more, yeah, I think we need to qualify those if we do it that way. And also I think when we go ahead and add more arguments to this, that will become a problem. I'll have to just add them back. Morax is saying, yeah, you can, but there's some auto-direct caveats to be wary of. Yeah, that sounds scary. I'd rather be explicit than deal with some auto-direct stuff. All my types changing under my nose. And again, if we add more arguments to these lists, we're going to have to add them back anyway, so I think it'll be all right. STU is also the same. That's kind of funny. Cool. And these are some immediate ones, so we get a little bit of a different format here. Don't worry about that yet. Branches haven't changed. And we have the load and store, which probably will stay the same as well. Yeah, sign extend when we load, chop them off when we store. That makes sense. 32-bit words. Cool. So that was fairly easy. Looks like we have the first set done already. More access says, to be honest, reg instruction looks like a function you wrote, so if the type of the second argument is the same as wrapping add, then you can just pass it in. Right, but again, even if I fully qualify it, we're probably going to add more parameters to that function, to that lambda, because there were a couple cases that this didn't cover, a couple other registers. If we look back at the data sheet, here. Right now we only covered adding these here, or register RS and RT. I know at least RD is what I'm going to add right now, so then they're not compatible anymore. Because when you wrap things in closure, there's sometimes some stuff done with references. This is encountered a lot in iterators, for example, where you need to sometimes add double end to filter something. Interesting. Sounds like we won't hit that, but good to know. So here we're going to add RD. Or one second. I think when you do RD, I don't think you ever actually read the register there. I think you just take RD like this. Pretty sure. I'll check when we actually hit one of these cases. So first, I'm actually just going to go through and make these compatible, make this run again. Then we'll see. Then we should be able to hit those other cases. More access, as long as the closure doesn't actually close over anything in the environment, will probably be optimized anyway. To which Cries said, Cries says closures will always be statically dispatched. But even if they're statically dispatched, you might still need to construct an environment object underneath, don't you? For closures. So if you don't close or anything, it's still a little faster, but you know. Cries says unless you use them as trade objects, but that makes sense because then you actually need the vtable. You have to dynamic dispatch for that. Yeah, and now we actually need to pass in RD here. Now it's mismatched types because RD was not a U64, it was a U32. And depending on how, I just want to look at some of these instructions that would use it. So in this case, when we used RD, oh no, it wasn't RD that I was going to pass anyway, it was SA. Whoops. But that's fine, because we can just basically rename it. But this just takes it as it normally is. So like it's SLL. SLL is a good thing to search. Oh no, yeah. So here it just takes SA right from the instruction. That's what I thought. So that's good. So let's just go ahead and change this to, instead of RD like this, we'll do D, and we'll change this to SA. And then we'll just keep this as a U32. A little type checking there. Everything else should actually be the same. So now we can actually transform this to that form as well. Self.reg instruction rs rt sa. Cries says with the static dispatch, it'll inline the closure, and at that point, there's no need to create any object at all. Actually, I recently tested this. Even when you pass a closure as a trade object, LLVM sometimes is intelligent enough to inline everything and do no dynamic dispatch at all. Collins says, indeed, if there's no object and the compiler can reason good enough about the code, it can inline it. But as always, better to check disassembly. Yeah, of course. you always need to actually check the disassembly because, frankly, optimization like that is always going to be unpredictable. There's just too many factors to consider. Zapeth says should pass SA to value though. I'm not sure what you're saying actually. I don't know what you mean. So in this case, it's just RT. And it's actually this. I call value in the previous location. Down here? Yes, yeah, that's correct. I see what you mean. Pass SA there. Yep. Thanks. More axes. What is the memory layout of a trait object? Is it like a pointer to vtable plus pointer to instruct instance? I'm somewhat curious myself. Haven't looked at that. I assumed it was something sensible like that. If there's magic, there's probably going to be a decent reason for it. Cries a pointer, a reference to a trait object is actually a struct that looks like this, and then link. If you, I think it's called whispers in Twitch. If you could send that to me, I would like to look at that and share it as well. Perfect, thanks. There it is. And I'm gonna open that up for me to look at later. Daniel Collins says there's a good section about it in the documentation, but he can't link it. Is that the same link you're talking about? Because Moraxi says, I do see it, why wouldn't I? Links are blocked on Twitch itself, but those of you who are connected via IRC can probably still see them. which I believe is considered a bug, but it is how it is. That's correct with my code previously, at least. Oops. I'm going to double check these, actually. So these shift left log. Oh yeah, okay. So these are still logical shifts. So actually, this might be wrong. Yeah, I think this is actually wrong. Also, when I look at the shift like this, is that also correct? Guys, it's actually pretty interesting to actually transmute these structures into pointers in the standard library. Maraxes, I didn't know Twitch blocks links. Yeah, it's an optional setting and I have it turned on. When you're doing emulation stuff, people can post links that are basically a liability, and I don't want them attached to the chat, so I just like to filter all the links. That's all that is. And for those of you that are using other services and can see them anyway, that's on you. But yeah, if for those of you watching through chat, if you could whisper me the links, then that's best, because then I can stream them. Also, if Zachy McHarvest is around, I don't think he is today, but when he's around, you can also whisper them to him. Any of the mods, really, but when I say mods, it's really mod, it's only him. So the reason I wanted to look at this again is because it looks like when shifting right, you still need to do zeros here. And I actually don't get that here. So this is actually incorrect, I think. Craig is saying people here actually seem really civil and could be a lot worse. Yeah, by the way, that's awesome. I totally agree. The people who watch my chat have been fantastic, so thank you guys for that. But you know, I just want to cover the bases. I don't think I've ever had a problem with a link yet, so I'm just being cautious. Like the audience that joins in for this stream in particular has just been really, really great. It's really cool. Okay, yeah. Forgot if I was recording this or not. Of course I am. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we need to do this. And that's so that when we're shifting values to the right, we don't get some of the sign extend that might have been on the end of RT. We chop those off and then we shift. I'm fairly certain that's correct. But that's cool. If we did actually find a bug here, then this was very useful. I'm sure there will be many more times that we'll go over these instructions. I think that's really common, at least in all the emulators I've done, where all the instructions take so many passes. So things are still running sort of correctly, so I don't know if that really would have mattered anyway, but it feels good to actually double check that. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to check is, you'll notice that we take RS and then do all this stuff to it. Is that actually what that is? Because just want to make sure. Yeah, it looks like it is. But then why was it okay here with just SA? Oh, of course, because RS and RT come from general purpose registers. So they could be any value, so that's why I chopped those off. Whereas SA we actually know is going to be the correct number of bits, so we can just use that directly. Okay, cool. We double checked. Looks correct. Good to know. I think there are no more instructions currently implemented with this format, which is nice. Gonna make sure we don't do any sign extends for MFLO. Nope. Good. So we don't get rid of this value here. I'll just leave. Actually, we will go ahead and do this. Make these a little nicer looking. Whoops, I deleted the instruction part, but that's all right. Cool. Starting to get a lot prettier. I'll bump this up here as well. Kind of group those together. And then I think we need to do the immediate ones as well next. The immediate instructions. Where's that table? It's funny how you remember patterns of how to search for things. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I do that all the time. Instead of just remembering where the thing is. That's why it's a bit funny. Oh yeah, so for the immediate ones, we take RS, RT, and then the immediate value. So that should be pretty easy. And then we still store... We don't store an RD then, do we? Like in this case, it all looks like it goes into RT. And that's probably correct. That could make sense, yeah. Pulls out RS, does something with immediate, and stuffs it in RT. That looks like it's correct. Okay, so now we'll do the immediate type. I'll even order them the same as they are here. Immediate instruction. It's going to have the same kind of format. Except now we only need RS and RT, and then immediate. Oops. And that gives us U32 immediate. I can see that I also have it sign extended here, so we'll see if we can do that. But for now, we'll just make it a U32. That should be okay. And then that will return the value to store. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're going to unpack RS and RT. We're also going to unpack the immediate value. Oops. And then we do let value is F RS RT immediates. And then do we need to sign extend that and write it back? I think we do. I'm pretty sure we're going to do that. I could be wrong though. Here we sign extend. Was that one of those? Wrapping add doesn't sign extend. Here we add immediate sign extended. So interesting. I might have to look at these on more of a case-by-case basis, actually. Let's see if there's any more I missed. No, I think we're good. Except for this one, by the way. Oh no, because we store in high and low, so that's gonna be its own thing. Okay, let's just go ahead and do these one by one. Oops. Exception. So this is going to be immediate instruction. Instruction RS. Do we actually ever take RT as an argument here? I don't think we actually do. So I'm actually going to remove that argument. So we actually don't need it here, at least. And we'll see. And here we took immediate sign extended. But if we just took immediate and then sign extended that ourselves, we'd have that covered. So I might transform it into that form, or I pass in both. But I'm not sure I want to do that. Let's see, there's my instruction. Because it literally just sign extended it from the I16 to the U64. How many places is that used? Just those two. We could actually just be cheeky and just bring both in actually. I think that's actually all right. Because that should ideally get kind of flattened by the compiler. I don't know if it will try to remove arguments, but if the function gets inlined, then it won't have any arguments to remove. So I think it'll be okay. And frankly, that actually it really isn't what I should be worrying about. So I think this is nice because then we get to choose, and we don't have to actually do the sign extending in each instruction. Okay. We're going to, result is rs plus immediate sign extended, and then we're just going to store that in GPR. Is that I do waggers? Wagers? I do wagers? How do I apply your Emacs theme, bro? So I can just show you my .emacs file. But you should probably look this up. I'll just show you really quick. This is my .emacs file. It's got lots of stuff in it. And somewhere down here, these lines here. So this is also my .files. You'll find them there on that same repo. But it literally just adds the folder to the load path. It tells the themes that to load from there as well. Then it just requires that theme and loads it. So that's everything you need. Again, that's in my .files repo, which is in the same repo as the theme. So go ahead and get it from there. So I don't think we. This was add I. I really want to look at this. Here. Actual instruction. 16-bit immediate is sign extended and added to the contents of GPRS to store the result in general purpose RT. In 64-bit mode, the operand must be sign extended 32-bit values. So it does do a sign extend. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sign extend just like we did above, and then see if we don't have to do that with the other instructions. We can almost factor out some of this as well. A bit funny. But that's probably a good sign. Javier BG, hey Ferris, I'm one episode behind on YouTube, but I wanted to come and say hi. How's it going? Appreciate the comments on branding and stuff. Believe that was you, right? That we were talking about on YouTube. Okay, so here we'll do the same thing. Immediate instruction. Here we have rs. Take the sign extended immediate. We'll also check to see if those other cases actually needed the not sign extended one, and see what happens. Because if we can get rid of that, then if it can always be sign extended, then that's probably all right, and is kind of something that I would expect. So here we just do rs.wrapping add. Nice. Oops. Get rid of that return value there. And I'm going to check this in the data sheet as well. Again, to see if this sign extends. Yep, it does sign extend there. And the only difference between these two is that they don't cause an exception. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Then what we have here looks correct to me. Yeah, Javier, that was the other thing we were talking about, Javier, was the K-seg cache logic. That's what that was, yeah. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this guy in chat and I were talking on YouTube about a way to simplify some of the K-seg bits in one of our registers. But I think even though he was able to simplify the Boolean logic, it made it look farther. It made it kind of more distant from what it said in the data sheet. So I thought it was a little bit better as is. So then go ahead and remove the closure here. Or remove the scope, I mean, or the block. Rust syntax terms. Maybe because line length, I might reduce this a bit, but nah, it was better as is, as it was. CW Deller, so are you rebuilding an NC4 CPU as a VM ATM? You could say that. You could say that. I'm interpreting the instructions at least, if that's what you mean. So and I looks to be pretty simple. We're gonna do the same thing, self immediate instruction. And again, I'll check this for like sign extension. In fact, I'll look at that now. Bit immediate is 0 extended. Okay, so that's important. We then passing both is correct. The result is stored in general purpose RT. And I think because it's 0 extended, you wouldn't need to sign extend again, because you would have just taken the sign bits from the other one. So then is it correct to sign extend, or is it not? So I'm not actually sure about that yet. Because the thing is that right now I'm chopping off whatever those bits end up being. And was there any way that those could have been anything else than just like ones or zeros? And actually, yes. No, because at least when you write it to register high and low, then that's the case. But then those end up being sign extended 32-bit values. So is there anything that's going to be writing to these registers that doesn't sign extend? We can actually just search this. Is there anything that writes these registers? So those GPR, those are sign extending, or they're sign extended values that it writes. These are the cases we're checking. Here we sign extend. Load word sign extends. Those sign extend. Branch writes a link address that's going to be 64 bits. So I think that's actually a case where this matters. Yeah, because I think there might just be other things than sign bits in there, so I don't think we can just chop those off in every case. So that means we actually need a couple specializations of this. We could make this a Boolean argument here. I tend to not like Boolean arguments. I tend to prefer two almost identical functions with the different parts being there and kind of inject that, but does it pass says branches are a different instruction type though? It shouldn't matter because you're still storing a register that then can have information in the top 32 bits that then this instruction can come and read. And so I'm worried about when we write back that register. Like let's say we did an add I, or what was one of these? like and I, if we did that with R31, that R31 might have had extra information in the top 32 bits. And if we just sign extended when we wrote, we would clobber that, and then our return address would be wrong. So I think we can't sign extend here. Even though the branches were different instruction, I think that that's how they're related. I'll go ahead and just do the Boolean argument here, but I tend not to like those, so I might change that later. I'll just do bind over value again. I'll do. Darren Collins says, I actually prefer using enums. It says here, right, sign extend, yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that if I'm going to have an argument like that that's basically a Boolean, at least wrap it like that. Yeah, because then you get the extra information at the call site instead of just true or false, where then you just kind of have to know what that magic number means. So I might do the same change with branch. I'll leave it as a Boolean for now, and then we'll go ahead and change that in a sec. Ernest, good to see you again. So add I did sign extend. This add IU did sign extend as well, right? I believe it did. Yeah, and then and I did not. Yeah, so now we're getting all the various combinations here. I don't know if we need a scope, but so I think this just gets simplified to this. So this will zero extend. That's correct. Yeah, then we can just flatten this a bit. Yeah, so that was a case where we needed to take in the zero extended immediate and not sign extend the result. So that's all right. And we'll do the enum thing to make this more readable when we're done with this. Yell at me if I forget that. Yeah, so I think this is basically the same ORI and I. I'll double check on like the sign extends. Yeah, here again we take the zero extended immediate, and then we don't sign extend. These are the details that make this kind of task pretty annoying, but the data is there. It's very important to be correct with this stuff. Oops. Don't need that. And this also gets simplified as im. Might be able to do that cast elsewhere as well, depending on where this immediate value is used. In fact, you know what? I am going to do that for sure. Go ahead and do the as U64 down here. So we're gonna go ahead and make this U64. Sign extend doesn't need that cast. Should be okay. Colin says, I think add IU, add I both sign extend, but add U does not. I could be wrong. I think the only difference is the exception handling. I think I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure I just checked that. But it's worth checking again. SpaceCast64, I can finally stay around for the whole stream rather than just half an hour. Good to see you again. I guess I can't quit for another half an hour then. 6 evening, it's 1:38 a.m. here. It's 3:40 p.m. here. By the way, I think I will also try to stream again next weekend. Maybe during the week, but I'm so it's kind of up in the air, but I'm probably traveling to Norway on Tuesday. So I'll be in CET time, or CEST, because it's summertime, I guess, for the next few weeks. So if I stream again next weekend, it'll be CET. Probably, but it'll still probably be 2 p.m. CEST. Sorry, CEST. So just a heads up. And if I do it during the week, it'll also be CET. Or CST, unless I don't go. But we'll see. Have to play it by ear. Time zones are fun. Daniel Cullen, yeah. It's a love or hate thing. Yeah, I was going to check the add I and add IU. Because I'm actually pretty certain that both don't sign it, or both do sign extend, and the only difference, because I think the double word is the one that will actually carry it out properly. So add I 60-bit immediate sign extended added to the general purpose RS and stored in RT. In 64-bit mode, the operand must be sign extended 32-bit values, plus integer overflow, and then we get the same thing for add IU except no overflow exception. So I think we're correct on those. Javier BG, you travel there quite often? Yeah, I work for a Norwegian company, and I have an apartment out there and everything. I lived there for like 5 years, but now I'm doing most of my work from the US. So I still go back there 4 or 5 times a year. This year I have at least this next trip and then 2 other trips planned already. One in July for Solskogen, and another one in October for Tursak, which is a demo party in Denmark that's really fun. If you guys have never been to a demo party or you don't know what that is, I'll probably be doing some demo scene related streaming one of these days. Anyway, you guys gotta check that stuff out. Seemed like the crowd that would really like that. So in this case, we are going to sign extend the results. We need RS. Yeah, LUI is upper immediate, so we'll take the regular immediate value. Even though it takes the upper one and then sign extends it, we could also just take the sign extended one and shift it. Maybe I do that actually. I think it's a little simpler, right? Have you RPG those names? They make sense if you're familiar with the data sheet, which you should be if you're mucking around in this code. So here, and then I think it's literally just so we didn't even need RS there. Because then I think we get our sign extend. Or really we get it anyway, because we're sign extending the result. So just to make this shorter, I'm just going to take immediate and shift to left 16, and then we'll get the sign extend from there. Nice. RPG, those names are for different reasons stuff. Yeah, the demo parties have kind of funny names, but Solskogen means sun forest. And then in Norwegian, and then Tursak is actually an acronym for the real scene after Christmas, which is funny because it's in October. I guess historically it probably wasn't. I don't know. Last year was the first year in 5 years I hadn't gone to that party, and that was a mistake, so I'm going this year. Yeah, that's correct. If we do load up our immediate, just take the immediate shift left 16 sign extent, and that's all covered by the boilerplate, so that's nice. Yeah, so let's do MTC0 stays the same. It's a coprocessor, right? So just need to read the value and shove the data in there. The branch instructions don't change, and these are the same as well. Okay, cool. So it looks like we're already done, minus the small refactoring I want to do. Does this still run? This should still run. Of course it doesn't. 119. That's probably why I had these on multiple lines. So it won't let me actually take reg or self reg high here because self is borrowed for this whole block, I could say. I think that's because you could actually have statements in here that if they also mutably borrow that, could actually change the value, so then this whole expression may not be valid. But I'm not sure. There's a lot of cases where the borrow checker is a little bit pedantic. But Rust team's working on improving that. In any case, this will be easy for us to fix because there's just... Just do that. Not a problem. Daniel Collins says, I actually made a 2-hour demo show for Tursak last year. I got on YouTube. I want to share that link. If you could whisper that to me, that'd be great. Or I guess you're probably connected through IRC. But I'm very happy to share that. Need to promote demo scene on this stream as much as possible. For obvious reasons. Mostly related to badassery. Oh yeah, here we got an error for a trivial numeric cast. I believe it was last time I merged a pull request that actually added that, made that pedantic. So awesome. Thanks again to whoever did that. That was 195. Here. Wait a minute, really? Yeah, okay. RD might complain about the same thing as well. We'll see. Nope, we're running again. Cool. Yeah, Colin sent me that link on Twitter. Go and grab that. Tursak demo show. I'm just gonna look at this list really quick. I want to see what's in there. Oh, you just actually made the did the videos yourself too. Do you have and you do have a production list. Awesome. Cool. Conspiracy. Yeah, good stuff in here. It becomes a lot shorter of a list when you put a bunch of C64 demos in there. Oh, Inflorescence is so good. Yep, this is a good list. BG, wow, it's impressive how much code I can run now. Great work. Yeah, thanks. There's part of the correctness of that code that I'm not that comfortable with, to be honest, because there's some things that we need to fix. But yeah, it is running through a lot of stuff. We have made progress despite how enormously long time it's taken. But that's the live streaming curse, I guess. Yeah, so here we want to actually make enum for this sign extend thing. We'll call this. Even call it sign extend result. I think that'll make it a little nicer. I'm also going to do the same thing for this this print instruction here. I'll change that bool. I believe there was another one that I had. Yeah, right link here. So let's just do one of these at a time, though. You can just do it here. Or, yeah, it's just enable. I'll just stuff it here. We can just do yes and no. That's fine, because we never include this anywhere else, so we're always going to need to qualify it. That makes it nice and readable. Here we sign extends. Here we sign extends. Here we don't. Daniel Collins says, thanks, it took way longer to do than I thought. I also captured all PC demos in 50 FPS, so they all have the same frame rate in the show. Nice call. BBG had no idea about the demo scene. This stuff you need to check out. It's basically people doing impossible things with hardware. Or, well, impossible things for a certain piece of hardware using software. So usually, it's about pushing limits. You either do things that like, oh, that hardware should not be capable of doing that. Garguy, good to see you. Or more modern ones also like to have limits about like file size. Like you could do the whole thing in a 64 kilobyte executable with no external media, and it still gives you a really cool audio-visual presentation, I guess. Okay, yeah, Garguy says he didn't capture all of them, so I guess he captured the conspiracy ones. By the way, all the demos in that list by conspiracy, Garguy probably had a hand in. All the demos by the Black Lotus, Daniel Collin probably had a hand in. So just keep that in mind when you watch those. Awesome stuff. So now we need to do the check here. We can match. That should actually be everything we need to do there. Yep. So then we'll go ahead and do these other ones. Just do right link like this. Using enums as booleans like this is also something I like to do in other languages than just ones that support union types. But it helps if you like have to qualify these. Like in C++, just using enum, you'd want to prefer enum class because then you actually get some type safety with them, and then you also have to fully qualify them. Usually, you can also, of course, pull the names into scope, but up to you. So right link was for branch, right? Yeah, we can just run this. Probably will tell us where we need this stuff. Boom. BGEZAL, so 151. I think most cases we wanted to write the link. 172. By the way, Garguy, while I have you here, have you made any other progress on porting Bonzomatic to NewerGL? I'm not going to pay any attention to the stream now. If it's for demo scene, I'm not offended. Garguy, guess what I'm doing right now? Good to hear, because as soon as that's done, I should have the OS export done fairly quickly. It was actually really easy because of all the Linux stuff that was already there. Is my right link? Yeah, of course. Now we're actually checking that as a Boolean, which is not what we're doing. So we just match. Actually, we can just do this. If let right link yes is right link, and then we don't change anything else. Okay, and then we'll do that same thing now for delay. Close delay slot. We'll just do yes and no again. Doesn't really matter. Also going to be cheeky. Do it this way. I think that works. I don't know if it's special for the format string, but I think that should be fine. So now I'll go ahead and make that delay slot type. Yeah, okay, so you actually do need a literal with that, that particular macro. That should be fine. Mismatch types, 78. And I at 272. The only two call sites. Cool. Garguy, it's absolute torture. I hate OpenGL. I haven't found modern GL to be that bad, but that's, I guess, because I've worked with GLES professionally. There's a path. Is it a good idea to order the enums like this, where we actually assign yes to 0, no to 1? I'm going to say no, just because, or like, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, except it might obscure intent, but I definitely wouldn't help us. Wouldn't hurt, but it wouldn't help. Javier, does Rust syntax by chance allow you to use named parameters like in Python? I can't remember if you have that in Rust. You're talking about like when you call the function, you specify a specific argument by name has a certain value. Just Google, have it Google. Named params. this is something else. They're calling nope, you don't have those. There have been talks about adding it. I thought that was the case, but I switch between languages too often. I forget these things all the time. I'm gonna put these back out, by the way. Yeah, so we're done with this. So that was actually the refactoring that I wanted to do today. And actually great timing because we just hit the 2-hour mark. I'm going to go ahead and commit this, and I think I'm going to take a little break. 5 or 10 minutes. This fixes 47. Have there been that many issues on this repo already? Fancy. Done. Javier says, I'm enjoying Rust so far, by the way. Didn't know anything about it. Yeah, I quite like it. It's solves a lot of the things I got really pampered with when I got into functional programming, and then when I came back to doing systems level stuff, I really missed a lot of these features that Rust has. So I quite like it as well. Ep.009, I'm not sure if the default type parameters are in for functions or not, but you might be able to do self-immediate with sign extend and immediate instruction. Oh, you're saying that I can parameterize the function with whether or not you could sign extend instead of passing that as an argument. That can make sense. Daniel Collins saying one way you can get around the named arguments thing is to use builders. And that works. Measure the ending. What program are you using? I think you're asking what my editor is. That's in my FAQ. I have a FAQ now, guys. I'm super pro. It's Emacs, but I wanna send people to the FAQ before I keep answering this on stream. Because I get asked that like 5 times a stream. RPG, yeah, functional language like Haskell teach you a lot of new semantics that are so useful. Pretty much. They tend to have better type systems. That's usually the short of it. Get used to a lot of features that are entirely possible to have in these languages. They just aren't, like algebraic types and pattern matching. Then you kind of hate your life when you don't have them. But yeah, so I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in 5 or 10 minutes. Then I don't know how much longer I'll keep going. Probably not too much longer today, but we'll see. So I'll be back. Hey guys, so I'm back, and I kind of started thinking about what I want to do next, because we're at the point where we basically are in some either extremely long loop or infinite loop somewhere, and there's only really a couple ways I think to break out of this part. The first is to actually start doing a disassembler and sort of working on that kind of debugger interface and making some progress on that front, because right now it's just a bit too hard to see kind of where we are. I think it's just about time we did that. The other thing is that I do think that what's happening now is that we've hit some kind of lockout mechanism that we're going to have to emulate, so I'll have to do some research on that as well. In any case, I think both of those are going to be tasks that I don't want to work on today, so I think what I'm actually going to do is call it quits for today for this stream. Because we did still make a lot of progress. So I think I'll start on that next time I stream, which will probably be next Saturday. Maybe it'll be sometime during the week, but we'll have to see. Anyways, I just think we're at a really good stopping point. So I think that's what I'll do. So I've already committed the changes we did today. If you guys have any more questions, I'll end with that as usual. So fire away. Zapeth, fun maybe. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for joining. It's pretty fun. I may stream some other stuff today, but we'll have to see, because I think I'm meeting up with someone later today. So we'll see. But I definitely have some demo scene related stuff I want to work on, and I might start streaming some of that. Thanks for the stream. Don't have much else to say. I appreciate it. Might even just be lazy and play Hearthstone for a while. Might stream some of that. My goal this month was to get above rank 10. I finally did. I got to 8, and now I'm on my way back down. I'm back to 10 again. But that was my goal for the month, so maybe I'll play some of that. You know, Colin, thanks. Thanks again for joining. Shame you won't be at Social Gogan. Maybe if I give you enough crap publicly, you will. That's my hope. Yeah, Colin, I will be at Tursock though. That's pretty cool. There would have to be an extremely good reason for me not to be there this year, but I've already started making plans, so it should be okay. Gaga, is Function still in September this year? Or is there a Function this year? Sixty, you've really inspired me to learn more about systems programming and rest, so cheers for that. Awesome. I hope you enjoy it. Gaga says, yes, sir, September 9th or 11th. I'm no longer organizing now. And that is you not organizing anymore is an incentive. Which sounds really mean, but the truth is that Gaga organizes like every party. So I always end up sitting like 2 feet from him and just we never really hang out because he's always organizing and I'm always working on demos, of course. So I think that'd be even more fun if you weren't organizing, is my point. So I'll have to look into that as well. That was another good party that I missed last year and the year before, actually. We'll have to see if we can swing that. But you'll be at Soul School, like a real demo scener. Cool. So I guess Daniel Collins says RustConf is the same date, by the way. Oh, is it? That was in Portland, right? You're kidding me. Yep, September 10th. That's a bummer. Garguy, so you're just legit avoiding me, I think. Yeah, I only go to parties where you're organizing. Get our socializing out for the year in one weekend by not socializing. So we'll have to see if I end up at function because of RustConf and the fact that I live in California. That's going to be a tough decision. Seiksu, by the way, have you ever done anything with DSP, digital sound processing? Yes, done quite a lot actually. If you look up some of my demo scene stuff, especially my size limited stuff, it's most likely that I did the synth. So I did the music and the synth. There's one case where I used Garguy synth actually. Daniel Collins just says X is the weekend after Tursock. That's a trip waiting to happen. I've never been to X. I need to go to X. X is a C64 only party. Need to go to that. I'm just pulling up a link to one of my demo scene prods where you can hear the synth I made. I think Rust would be a good fit for sound. Actually, I don't know what operating system you're on, Seiksu, but I contribute to the Core Audio Rust package. So if you use that, let me know if it sucks. Yeah, Colin will be at both. Nice. Yeah, I really want to go to X one of these years. Seiksu, yeah, so you'll probably actually end up using Core Audio RS because the only cross-platform, or unless you use something like Port Audio, because the only Rust-specific cross-platform sound library is called CPAL, and it doesn't support OS X right now, and when it does, it's going to use Core Audio RS. Yeah, Colin, make sure to register. Yeah, good point. Forgot about that. Those tickets go super quick. Is the registration open? If they are, you should send me a link. Skit infinite loop? Looks like it. Thanks, Daniel Colin, for the X link. I'll have to hit that up. All right, but I think that's about it for me today, guys. So like I said, I might stream some other stuff today, but usually when I say that, I don't, and that's usually because it takes a really long time to upload these videos to YouTube. And I'd like to try not to streaming while also uploading because it's just a lot of upload bandwidth. Skid says maybe it's just a really long loop and you're printing and slowing it down. I somewhat suspect that, but we'll find out later. Anyway, so I'm out for now. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time.